No, why be mad at us?
I hope not. I love you guys. They got John Morgan.
Well, Ben, I was going to ask you how you were feeling after the victory, but it seems like you're in good spirits, we'll see.
Because I saw you, I feel, listen to that. Am I too loud?
Absolutely not.
It's pretty rough. I'm hurting. And not my face. Actually, I've looked so much worse in a fight, so I'm thankful. I feel good. I feel healthy. They're asking when I probably fight again. I think easily in this summer. I said I can walk around 310 pounds easy. So for me to be walking around at 268, I'm really proud of that. A lot of things in my past, some might know, that makes it a very hard challenge for me. So to get my weight, to have it keep going down, I have a goal to keep going down, and I think it's going to just keep making me faster. It's going to keep upping my conditioning. So I'm 38, but I feel like I'm not 40 yet. In the next couple of years, I can really get out there and entertain the crowd and really show this heavyweight division can do.
Very nice. You controlled most of the fight tonight, but he definitely had a couple of moments here and there. How did you feel overall about your execution tonight?
It just sucks because I know I slipped, and he hit me, you know, but it was more of a slip. I really shouldn't have fell down from those, and I was so mad. I popped up on the last one because I knew I'm like, you can't let that go to the judges, making it look bad. But I popped up as fast as I could. But you know, he got him through, but I was happy with getting some of those knees through. I crushed him in the body. That really, really did a toll on him. I feel like if April wasn't so hard on me, because this month of April was hell on me. I was hurting in that fight, just inside. We overtrained. I was ready for April 18th, and I gutted. This was a gut performance in here. But some of those shots got through, and I felt him wilt. I feel like a healthy version of me, I can finish that in the first or second round. So that's why I'm disappointed. First split decision in the UFC. It's only my second in my career.
You talk about it being hard. I mean, are we talking mainly just because the pandemic stuff, and obviously you're a business owner as well? I mean, is that what's hard about it, or what was it?
Those things included, that was the mental challenges. I mean, going to the grocery store in Wisconsin became a chore. It was a challenge. But my training, we were ready. I was really great shape for April 18th, and things were changing. It was like 2 weeks out when they were like, okay, this fight isn't happening type of thing. Somewhere 2 or 3 weeks out. So we were starting to make preparations before April 18th, but I was on. I had been training since January. So April was rough because Volante was out. Then I signed a contract for another opponent for the maybe going to be a fight in May. We didn't really know yet, but we signed a contract. So I was training, but then that fight fell through. So I was like, oh, and then OSP came through, and it was just like the opponents are changing really hard. You know, my main training partner is driving from Madison. It's a 2-hour drive, so really hard on him. Luckily, he was able to gut it out and help me. My trainers are coming from Schaumburg. That's like an hour and a half away. So it was just a really hard thing for everybody because they were all dealing with their situation. So just trying to get training partners, trying to keep the diet right, trying to keep my mind right. It was just such a toll on top of basically overtraining for a month.
Yeah. The end of the fight obviously said going to a split decision. The look on your face as they started to read that was pretty telling. What was actually going through your mind at that moment?
I thought it was another Blagoy. I really thought I did a good job in the Blagoy fight, at least enough to win. Not a good job, but I thought I did enough to win. And the split decision just crushes you. And I went in, I wasn't sure, because I'm like, okay, I slipped on those 2 punches. But I'm like, doesn't the 4 minutes and 50-some seconds of me controlling the fight and landing these hard shots count for something? So I thought I'd won the 3 rounds. So I was kind of disappointed that it even went there. But it really felt good this time around to have it go in my favor.
Nice. And last thing for me, you made you had the call out ready of Olenek. Why does that fight make sense to you?
He beat the Verdum. It was a big win for him. Congratulations to him. He did a great job. Not only that, but he fought exciting. He came out throwing hammers. And I just think that would be a great fight. We're 2 older guys. He didn't look like he was too busted up, so I think maybe and he's older too. So I think he's somebody that's with me. He wants to get in there again. And hopefully we can make that fight this summer.
Ben right here.
Yes.
A lot was made of you fighting another light heavyweight coming up, but Ovince St. Preux actually outweighed 3 of the heavyweights.
Yeah.
Were you surprised by how much he came in?
No, I made a comment before they'd asked me about him, and I'm like, I said I felt bad for light heavyweights because the guy's a monster. He's a natural heavyweight. He's huge. What I didn't say is I think that was a huge advantage for him fighting those smaller guys. He came up and he fought a guy that's 30-plus pounds bigger than him after we both kind of, because that's his, I don't think he put any more weight on. I put on another 10 pounds. So I was even bigger yet, and I think it took some of his advantage away. I think he felt that tonight. Me pulling on, I don't think any of the light heavyweights have pulled on his neck and kind of hit him in the body as hard as I did. So he definitely felt it, and yeah.
And you obviously fought in an empty arena right here. We've spoken on like some of the weird places you fought early on, especially your amateur career. How does this compare to some of the other places you fought early in your career?
Similar to Japan, the quietness, but I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. Outside of the pandemic and all the bad stuff, I wish every week was like this. I come out of O'Hare, it was empty. We got to the hotel, we each got our own workout room. Everything was super quiet. I enjoy the quiet arena because it's like sparring. So I enjoyed this whole week, really.
Well, that's pretty much exactly what Andre Arlovski said. He said outside the pandemic, he hopes he can keep doing this.
Well, great minds think alike.
And then one final one, Stipe Miocic, obviously the heavyweight champion, is getting a lot of grief from fans and other people because he says he can't train. A lot of people point to him being a first responder. He has other responsibilities. So what do you make of this backlash that Stipe is getting?
I don't want to come at the guy because he's got a lot of people that love him. Oh, he's a first responder. I'm not gunning on that. But he could be first responding as a volunteer. Let's be honest, he's a volunteer. Ohio's not on fire. It's not necessary. And he made an obligation to be the heavyweight champ. This is what you got to focus on this. Me and all the people tonight and Saturday night, next Saturday night, we're all training. And I know his trainer will open the gym and train for him. That's why I was upset, because I'm like, Stipe, I like the guy, I do. He's obviously, he's gonna go down in the Hall of Fame, he's a great heavyweight. I wish he would have said nothing. He let all the talk make him say something that's not him, that's not his character. Why did you say this stuff? You're better than that. You don't need to say that stuff, because I don't feel like it was true. I feel like he broke his character saying this stuff. You can go in the gym and train. Your first response stuff, I think he pulls on people's heartstrings for it. But we all know, like, hey man, he's gonna come in here and make real money being a heavyweight champ. You pick and choose your priorities. It is what it is. Hey man, I respect the guy though. He's a hero, he's awesome. But for all of us fighting, especially us older guys, man, we gotta get this division moving. The heavyweight division of all things had a Cain Velasquez destroy the division by sitting on the belt for almost, I don't know, something stupid like 5 years. We can't let that happen again. We can't. We gotta move on. Make an interim belt then. Just do it. We do it all the time. Make an interim belt. Let Francis and whoever fight. Just let's get, when Stipe comes back, fight. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's just get this division moving.
Thank you so much.
Ben, you said this fight was a gut check for you. You were peaking for the fight to be earlier. How soon before the fight in April did you find out that you definitely weren't going to fight, and how hard was that? Like, whether to train, whether not to train?
Yeah, there was a lot of that. It happened with Volante, it happened with the next opponent, and then OSP stepped up. It was like 2 weeks. We took this fight, May 2.5 weeks ago. So I knew that fight was going to happen. And if it wasn't Volante's fault, I kind of knew ahead of time in my gut that he wasn't going to be able to fight because of where he was. But they were like, no, he's going to fight and be ready, because they still thought April 18th was going to happen. So it was really tough, because in my gut, I'm like, it's not going to happen, but everybody's saying it's going to happen. So I was like half-hearted training, and it was like mentally really tough with everything going on. And then, yeah, then he couldn't fight. I was like, I told you so, you know, and but I was getting told the whole time, keep training, you're going to fight. And I did tonight. So luckily I didn't fall off the bandwagon. There was a couple days I took off, and I wouldn't normally, but it was a mental, like nothing ever happened before, like everything that's going on in this country.
How soon before your fight was going to happen in April, how soon did you stop training for that? And then how much of a break did you have?
I luckily never really stopped. We just kind of, there was only like a couple days of, oh, we don't know. And then the new opponent in the middle got, like 3 days later, it was like, hey, got an opponent, you're going to fight May 9th. May 9th was the new date. And then that fight fell through, and then they're like, okay, May 13th. Right?
Was this one of the toughest fights you've ever had to train for?
It was a challenge. I've been in a 5-round fight, so obviously we did some really intense training for that. But this was like more. This wasn't the physical; it was the mental. and my family and everybody was at risk, and then me coming here was a lot of stress. You know, the UFC did an outstanding job. I think everybody's safe, we're doing good, but you can't help if people are worried, you know, and there's that mental baggage, so it's just a lot of that.
What's your target weight? You mentioned you want to be lighter, to be faster. What's the target weight?
I'm 68. My trainer says 55, but I think 260. It's not easy for me. Every pound, literally every pound is a war. So, like I said, I was walking around at 310, and beginning of last January, I got myself down to about 280, and I've been fighting, now I'm down to 267. So it's been a long road to get where I'm at, but I'm here, and I've really figured myself out better now, and I'd like to see myself be walking around 260, 255. I think I'll be a force to be reckoned with.
When do you want to fight again?
Hopefully this summer. I don't want to wait too long. What about the guy in the white?
I'll ask you this. So we just watched Anthony Smith and Glover Teixeira go at it, and for the last 3 rounds, Anthony took a serious beating, and everyone's online is saying his corner should have stepped in, his corner should have stepped in. As someone who goes in there and fight, is there ever a point where you want your corner to step in?
Absolutely not. You can't. You just can't. And I think that's even a rule. You're not allowed to. But hey, man, I signed the contract. If I want, I can tap out. That's a beautiful thing. This isn't boxing. In boxing, you gotta, you get that 10 count. This is just tap out if you don't want to fight. But if I don't tap, you don't know. Wait till my eyes are rolling the back of my head. That's what I signed the contract for.
Is that something that only someone who gets in there and fights can understand?
Probably. I think it's just like a sports fan that sits and watches a football game. Hey, go do this, go do that. You don't know. You got to be in there to really understand. And it's because of the commitment that we have to this that, we want to go out, because you've seen some pretty amazing things where you think the fight's over and the guy comes back and wins. Every single time we think that's going to happen. That can happen. So don't take that chance away from us.